Jack Quinn here with Penn State Barron men's volleyball coach Phil Pisano as we look ahead to the 2014 season. Coach, how are you doing today?
Great.
Terrific. Now, you had only one senior last year. You went 15-15, but you finished 13-9, so you're able to close out strong. Can you take that momentum into this season?
I certainly hope so. We've got a lot of returning players, as you mentioned. Most of our significant players from last year are back. So in year 3 does start to feel like we've got a program that's starting to be more established. And so we're hoping for early on in the season we've got more experience on the court and we're not playing catch-up.
And you mentioned some of the returning players, 3 All-AMCC players, Coker, Steele, Sheehan. So what are you looking for from those guys this season?
Those were our 3 top hitters from last year, all 3 on the outside and the right side, and did a lot for us, serving, passing, playing defense, and obviously attacking the ball as well. We're looking for leadership out of them, helping the younger guys know what it takes to compete with the top teams in the country, not just on the court, but in the weight room, doing all the little things.
You mentioned the younger guys. You do have 9 freshmen coming in at the other end of the spectrum. Is it realistic to expect them to contribute right away, or do you just sort of have to gauge them in practice and go case by case?
I think there's a lot of competition for those freshmen in practice. Part of it will be how quickly can they catch up with the experienced players that have been playing for a year or for 2 seasons as a varsity athlete. But they have already provided us a good spark in practice, being able to compete, being excited about being on the team, and so I think that as the season goes along, you'll start to see more of them making an impact.
And who now in practice do you expect now to maybe make an impact right away that's shown you some things in practice thus far among the younger players?
Well, out of our sophomore group, Josh Wardley and Kevin Smith were starters off and on last year, and they're penciled in to play in the middle. Eric Tice was a sophomore last year, a freshman last year, sophomore this year, and I think his role will grow. And we've got a couple of freshmen that are doing a nice job. Mitch Faribaugh, Zach Miller are both setting and playing some defense, and then Antonio Vasquez out of Puerto Rico. I think early on those will be the guys that get a little more playing time from the get-go.
And you play in the United Volleyball Conference, one of the best conferences in the nation. So when you're out recruiting, is this an asset that you can say, hey, you can come to Penn State Barron, get some playing time as a younger player, and you're playing one of the best conferences in the nation, or is it maybe they don't want to play in one of the best conferences in the nation?
I think especially guys seem to be pretty interested in going up against the top players that they can. So it's been an asset for us so far. The challenge for us is now not just to be happy with competing in those matches, but to start to win some of those matches against the top teams. So it's certainly something we talk about. You're going to get to see the best of Division III if you come to Penn State Barron here in this UVC. And in the preseason poll, out of the top 15 teams in the country, 7 of them are UVC teams. So
now, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Your team has a lot of personality, and we've joked about that, but it still must be nice, though, to know that these guys all seem to be friends and there's some camaraderie there.
Right, yeah, they're a good group. They get along well. They love the sport, and I think that's important. They're goofy from time to time, of course, but when it gets down to it, they like to compete, and they're serious about trying to have the best season that they can and the best, helping us become the best program that we can be.
You opened with Lancaster, Bob. You defeated them last season in Lakeland, whom you didn't play last season. What kind of challenges will they present for you on the 18th?
I think early on it's really hard to say. You don't have video on anyone. It's just the opening weekend, so we'll focus a little bit more this week in preparation on ourselves and making sure that that we know all of our patterns, all of the plays that we want to run, and go from there. And then during the course of the match, hope to make adjustments based on what our opponents are doing.